Now take a look at our very latest Eastern Enhanced Satellite picture as of 5:30 this morning, as the eye was just moving onshore to the south of Wilmington. Heavy showers and thunderstorms surrounding the eye.
Generally torrential rains, high winds, and the possibility of tornadoes. Storm surge tides will be anywhere from 8 to 10 feet above normal.
We're forecasting, especially all week long, to have Dr. Neil Frank as we take a look at Wrightsville Beach. That's one of the locations that had about 100-mile-per-hour winds. But Dr. Frank in Florida from the National Hurricane Center, who has been giving us updates on Diana and her progress. Dr. Frank, good morning.
Good morning.
Can we say now that we know a little bit more about Diana's lifespan now that she's crossed the shore? I say we have.
As Long Beach Mayor, Long Beach, Carolina Mayor. From Myrtle Beach over to Cape Fear, and Cape Fear, of course, is located just south of Wilmington. The eye is right on the beach, moving westward along that coastline, and as the eye passes now, the winds are going to shift into south, and you're going to have the storm surge, and the water come rolling in there, and all kinds of damage.
You know, there are probably some people looking down on all this from Virginia or West Virginia. Are we going to feel any side effects other than the Carolinas from this storm?
Well, we think this cold front that's coming through the Midwest is eventually going to probably pick the system up and sweep it out to the northeast, but we'll have to wait and see how that develops before we can be very precise.
I know it's a very tense wait and see.
Streams that are still over water, but a lot of it is over land now, and so it is starting to twist and spiral itself in, and as a result, we may notice a slow weakening process. But again, the storm has not moved anywhere. The steering currents are very weak, so it could continue to drift westward, and unfortunately, it may go eastward again, and if it does get out over into the open water, we could see it regenerate again into stronger wind speeds, so we're going to have to watch it very closely.
Except, hello, Brooklyn. That one is for Jock and his pretty wife, Mary, in Brooklyn, who never missed Chanel 9. All right, here's the front coming down from the northwest. We'll have a surface map for you in just a moment. And meanwhile, here's a kind of a broad shot of Diana. There's a closer view of Diana. Isn't that science? Isn't that amazing? Diana's winds are still 75 miles an hour. She is indeed an all-out hurricane, but barely. She might be downgraded to a tropical storm later this afternoon. Of course, you have to have sustained winds of 75 miles or greater to be considered a hurricane, and she barely meets that criteria. Diana's peak gusts are 85. She's wobbling to the west-northwest at 5 miles an hour. Her location is 35 miles west-southwest of Wilmington, North Carolina. Now, at the Wilmington airport right now, they're carrying moderate rain. The wind is gusting to 50 miles an hour. They have had a mere 11 inches of rain since all of this started. Now, with that front that I showed you coming down from the northwest, it could push Diana back out in the ocean. If that happens, then she could redevelop. We'll just have to kind of wait and see. Here's the cold front.
Radar photograph shows, and you can see the center of the storm. However, this is going to become more difficult seeing the center of the storm because the storm is weakening now that it is over land. Weakened drastically this morning. Top wind speed coming down from 115 miles an hour to 75 miles an hour.
When she finally hit, she did so with a vengeance.
Just after midnight, there it is. It's continuing to move toward the coast. Of course, the counterclockwise rotation around the storm. 1 o'clock, it moves over Cape Fear. We jump to 3 o'clock in the morning. It moves just south of Wilmington, North Carolina. Of course, the strongest winds, the highest winds, are near the eye and just to the north of the eye. And as of this morning, you can see the eye just disappears. At 9 o'clock, it is gone. The clouds fill it in. Almost every time a hurricane gets over land, it loses the eye. The strength goes down very, very rapidly. A storm, a hurricane needs the water to keep going. At 4 o'clock this afternoon, the last photograph we have, the eye of the center is just about there, halfway between Fayetteville and Wilmington in North Carolina. And again, maximum speeds of 50 miles per hour. It moved toward Cape Fear, then it moved a little bit toward the east, did a loop-de-loop, came back, and then went on shore right there over Cape Fear. And that happened about 1 o'clock in the morning over Cape Fear, North Carolina, landfall. And then it moved up and moved just south of North Carolina about 3 a.m. and now continues to move toward the northwest. It's probably going to swing this way and back out to the northeast and out to sea again, which it may increase in strength again by then, but at least won't be a threat to land. Hurricane force.
During the next few hours, Diana's eye and swirling winds danced across radar screens, their speed accelerating from 2 miles an hour to perhaps 8, a fourfold increase.
Carolina, approximately 30 miles southeast. Movement very slowly to the northwest at about 5 to 10 miles per hour.
Manhattan. And all the police officers who work the beat on Manhattan South. They never miss Channel 9 News. They don't miss a lot of other things either, let me tell you. Happy birthday also to Bobby. No, that's for later. I'll save that one. I promise him I'll do it later. Nikki is a year today. Now, let's get to Diana. Diana's peak winds are now 45 miles an hour. She's a tropical storm. She's just north of New Bern, North Carolina, and tracking northeast out into the Atlantic Ocean. Whether she'll intensify a little more remains to be seen. I kind of doubt it, because the water is a little bit cooler up here, and we've got a strong frontal system coming in from the northwest. Here's watching her all right. How long can you look at Diana? Top winds are 45. I mean, I've had her for lunch, breakfast, dinner. 24 hours a day, practically. I mean, I've even dreamed about her. But the northeast at about 10 miles an hour, getting out into the Atlantic, 45 mile an hour on the winds. Well, radar, I don't know what to say about her anymore. Words don't even describe her. Radar shows a heavy activity along the Carolina-Virginia coast. This is associated with her. And the thunderstorms coming in from the west with the cold front. Now,
important at the present time is this area you see here. Showers, thunderstorms, it's the old front, it moves right across Cuba, and it has developed several waves on it, and consequently a lot of wet weather there. But what's also happening is the fact that there's an upper ridge. This is trapping that area, and it's going to begin to push it slowly towards the west. This means in about 48 hours at least, we're going to get some heavier weather in here, and it will be watched very, very closely. Here you see a closer picture of it as it covers a portion of the Dominican Republic, sections of Cuba, and through the areas of the Bahamas. And as I said, as it advances towards us in about 24 hours, you'll find an increase in the cloudiness, an increase in the showers over South Florida.
Cause for concern. This is the area that we've been watching for the last few days, affecting the southern Bahamas all the way down to Hispaniola and over to eastern Cuba. It has now formed a center just about in this position, and it is moving very, very slowly, about 4 knots to the east. Top winds near the center are about 25 miles per hour, but indeed you can bet there'll be an Air Force reconnaissance plane investigating it again this afternoon. We'll be keeping a close eye on this particular situation.
I said a tropical depression has now definitely formed, and this one is fairly close forward motion. I said 11 miles per hour. There's a good chance it'll slow less than that. There's even a chance, there are all kinds of chances, there's a chance that it could sit out there and just worry us for a couple of days. We'll have to wait and see. This is one that's close enough and has enough of possibility to it that you'll have to keep a very close watch on our advices here from News Center 7.
It'll be breezy, wet, and windy today. The high temperature about 84 degrees. A small craft advisory is in effect. The sea's about 5 to 8 feet. Waters near shore will be rough. This is Bob Weaver. Good morning.
Superimposing the radar picture right on top of the cloud cover, and you can see there are some very strong storms going on right down here in the Florida Straits associated with Tropical Storm Isidore. In fact, to show you where all of the rainfall is associated with this, you can see what a mass. A lot of the rain, as a matter of fact, the bulk of the rain appears to be to the east of the storms, or the west of the storm center being right around Andros. So you're seeing a lot of rain, and as Dr. Frank said, the 5 to 10 inches of rain may be the biggest problem that we may have to put up with, along with the tides running about through and the southwestern corner of the storm. Really, the center is out around Andros, so it's pumping moisture right across into the Gulf Stream. That's helping to trigger some of those showers and thunderstorms, but you can see there's a little red pocket there, a little red pocket there, one out there. All of this, of course, out over the ocean. We are picking up a little heavy shower activity around the central Broward coastline.
Is that the storm continues to move towards the west. Now, the reason that's good news is because that means towards the west, we'll continue to see more of those squalls come in. Some of them may even be a little stronger than we've experienced already. So that the storm is already influencing us. It's not a question of it being out there. We're already under the influence of it. And as the center approaches the coastline, maybe tomorrow conditions might improve. So we're very thankful tonight that we continue to see this west motion. That means that the probability of some strengthening is reduced, and if we can continue to push this storm on west tonight and cross the coastline, then that'll be very good news for us. Now, we'll have another update at midnight.
South, all that's making progress towards the coast. So for tonight and tomorrow, we will be in for heavy amounts of rainfall. The winds will be on the gusty side, and then by Friday, hopefully, things will improve.